Jeff, your short track program has come a long way. It feels like, going into the playoffs, it was like, man, how are these guys going to beat the Penske cars? And even JGR seemed to have a leg up. But when you got through, like you look at Gateway, you look at Loudon, there was like steady gains. And then this weekend was really a resounding Hendrick, showed a lot of speed. How did that happen for you guys? And where do you see things turning around that you were able to get to this point?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just got to prioritize, right? And maybe we gave up a little bit on our mile-and-a-half stuff, not purposefully, but it's just you only have so much time in a day. And so when you start looking at prioritizing what it takes to win a championship, it's probably, if you're in this round, going to come down to what you do at Martinsville. And if you get through Martinsville, then it's going to come down to what you do at Phoenix. And so I think it's been a top priority for us. And really, you got to look at what Penske has done. They had raised the bar in such a big way of the way they've performed here and the way they have gone and won the championship in Phoenix, when you really all year long didn't necessarily think that they had what it took, but they had what it took at the right time, the right places. And so you have to adjust, with this format and with certain tracks that become that important. And so I know that it's been, I would say, go back 2 years, getting beat at Phoenix. We've got work to do here. Last year, we stepped it up, and it still wasn't enough. And this year, I think it became a much bigger priority, and the effort, and the folks that are at Hendrick that have the brain power to, put the effort into mechanical grip and aero and horsepower and all the things, tire modeling, they went to work. Obviously we give a lot of credit to our crew chiefs because they work, tirelessly on it. And then the engineer, they're head engineers. But Tom Gray, I think, is a guy that probably does not get enough credit. He's, he heads up our engineering group and development group, and he was my head engineer next to Alan Gustafson when I ended my career, and he's one of the best in the garage. And him being in this role, I think, has really elevated our game. And I give him a lot of credit also for orchestrating the improvements that we've had on the short tracks.
Jordan Bianchi, the Athletic, kind of following up on that there isn't a Penske car in the championship four, does that make it feel like a wide open thing?
It does. I mean, you saw what they did today. We saw what they did at New Hampshire. You saw what they did today. I mean, where'd Blaney start? 30th? 31st. Honestly, I thought it was impossible to win this race from 31st, and yet he drove right up through the field. He didn't do it immediately, right? It took long runs, it took pit stops, it took some gambles on some strategy, but they put themselves in position. And I really didn't think that. First, I thought the 22, kind of had the magic there early on when he was making some gains. I was like, oh boy, 22 is gonna go up there and take this thing and go battle for it again. But then you started really seeing there was one long run there, and you saw Blaney just and we were chatting among ourselves, going, 12 just showed up, and once he got the lead, I thought, man, I don't know how we're going to get away from them. So they've carried that on into Phoenix, right, and have won championships last few years. So I think that it is wide open, and with our improvements, I that we man the shorter tracks, I feel like it gives us even more confidence next week.